Hey guys, here is how to destroy a 1000 rated opponent in less than 12 moves. Okay, and this is using the Vienna game. So I just picked up an open challenge. My opponent's rated, I think, 998 at the time of the game, and I get the white pieces. So we start with e4 and e5. By far the most common response at the beginner intermediate level. As you get higher up, you find more Sicilians. And I play the Vienna, so that is knight to c3. My opponent now plays an unusual response that I don't really come across often, and is one to look into. So he's playing g6. So it looks like he's going to play some kind of King's Indian idea here. I suspect that he probably plays the same kind of way against more or less anything, which is, I mean, that can kind of help you as a beginner, maybe sub 1000, but will probably become a handicap later on as you play. So now bishop to c4. I didn't really know the best response, but I thought, well, let's just stick to what we know, target this. I can't bring my queen out here to look at that square because of this pawn move, but never mind. And now indeed he fianchettos the bishop on g7. So now I bring my queen out to f3. We're on move 4 now, and obviously I'm targeting the f7 with the threat of immediate mate with queen takes f7. So he blocks that now with the knight. So what I want to do now is I want to put pressure on this knight, and I want to develop, I want to solidify my control of the center. So d4 isn't really playable now because pawn takes and then my knight's under attack, so I'm going to lose tempo if I play that. So I just simply play d3, getting ready to bring my bishop out here and pin the knight against the queen. Now he carries on with his plan. It's like his head's down. He's not really looking at what I'm doing. He's not really looking at preventing my ideas. And you have to notice that this is now pawn move number 3. Okay? Now, these pawns are okay to move. You can move the b pawn and the g pawn at the start of the game because each of them allows a bishop to develop, right? We've already seen the king's bishop come to g7, and we may now see the queen's bishop come to b7. And this is not bad. I mean, bishops can be very powerful on these long diagonals, right? However, you always need to be cognizant of what your opponent's doing. So here he's already played e5. So this bishop now isn't a great bishop. This bishop could have a future, but let's see. But I do generally or counsel against just automatically playing the same stuff every time. So indeed, my bishop comes out to g5, and black now castles. Okay, so what would you play here as white? Let's have a think. Right, so bear in mind, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to layer up threats, okay? And very often the threat of something can be more effective and powerful than the actual execution of the thing itself. And the main threat I have here is we have a pinned knight, okay? And as in the Vienna, we've always, you move the knight out to c3 on the second move. So my next move is now knight to d5, and look, I have 1, 2, 3 pieces looking at this poor knight here. All right. Now the knight himself cannot move. Okay. Wherever he goes, I'm going to grab the queen, and he can't. For example, because my queen's on a light square, the knight's on a dark square. There's nowhere he can move to recapture my queen. So, for example, if he could move, say, to here, and I take his queen, he takes my queen with check. I have to capture his knight, he captures my knight, that would be all right, but it's on the wrong colour square. And so what he's done here is, if you look at this now, from here, okay, right now, this knight is defended once, twice, okay? Now, he then proceeds to castle, which is reasonable, but he hasn't counted that I have 2 attackers and a potential third attacker that could come into here. All right. So the knight comes in, there's now 3 attackers, and there is no way for him to add another defender to that knight. No possible way at all. Now, if the d-pawn had moved, maybe knight to d7 would be a standard way to defend the knight. But he's screwed now, right? So he just carries on with his plan. Fianchetto the queen's bishop, and now I come in with check. He's pretty much forced to take the knight now. The only other possible move, so he's got bishop takes, queen takes, which would be horrible, or king to h8, in which case he's just lost a piece, basically, for nothing. So he has to kind of swap off, but he's still lost a piece. Now the queen's under attack, and so the queen comes now to e8, which is reasonable and lining up with my king. But I'm in no hurry here. I've got a reasonable protection around my king. I'm not concerned. I'm going to go in for the kill. And now queen e3. So what is the purpose of queen e3? Doesn't look like much of a move. It's just moving one piece, one square. I haven't completed development. I haven't castled. But that doesn't matter, because what we have here is the potential for an unstoppable mate. Okay, so I'll show you how it goes. Now he develops his knight. It's almost like he's not looking at what I'm doing at all, and he's not evaluating the threats. I'm not even sure if it would be possible for him to stop this, because now queen h6, and nothing now can stop queen g7 checkmate. All right, really, really simple. 11 moves, black resigns, it's all over. Okay, let's have a quick look at the game report and see what could have been done. I think at that point, mate was inevitable. Okay, so 94 accuracy from me, no inaccuracies whatsoever, and he's played with 2 blunders. So, book, move, and then this is already odd. Okay, so it's saying knight out here, which is very common. And now bishop to here, it's saying d4. Okay, d4 is perfectly reasonable, because if d4 and pawn takes, queen takes, he's already got a big problem here. And white is already doing very well. Okay, he's got no development whatsoever. So that, yeah, that would have been absolutely fine. So that's one for the notes. Might remember that one. Okay, so instead I play my bishop out here. It says that's good, slight edge for white. Only slight though. Fianchetto the bishop. Again, it says it's good, but not best. White's nearly a point up now. Queen here, so yeah, it's saying f4. f4, this very standard Vienna move. Trying to get rid of the pawn, get a big centre, then the bishop can recapture the pawn. Castle. Yeah, get the knight out, castle, that all makes sense. But queen to here, I'm thinking I'm playing a lower rated opponent. I want to keep the threat level high. So let's threaten now with an immediate mating threat. Now at this point, it's got us bang equal, the engine. Even though I have a lead in development, but you know, you could argue I've thrown my queen out into the board maybe a bit early. Knight to f6 is the best move, good. And d3 now, best move again. And again, doesn't really like this one very much. It prefers c6 to b6. It says it's a good move, but not great. Now bishop out to here is excellent. h4 is best. That's an interesting one. h4. So it just wants me to go straight in and start breaking up this pawn structure. Whenever you push your g-pawn like this with the intention of castling there, this pawn becomes a target. So h4, h5 or h5, h4, if you're playing with black, is always a weapon against that Fianchetto position. It says this is excellent, and castling now is a blunder. Why is it a blunder? Because he hasn't counted attackers and defenders, okay? He's got 1-2 defenders of the knight. There are already 1-2 attackers, and this is imminent. So, knight comes in, best move. And now plus 5.5 for white. Okay, because he's just been playing head down. He's not been paying attention or enough attention to what I've been doing. He's not asking the question, why did my opponent play that move? He's not looking at the threats enough. Okay, and this is a mistake, and now it's +10. Simply +10. Okay, knight captures with check is the best move. I don't know what it thinks of bishop takes. A blunder. Because bishop takes, queen takes, knight takes, right? And black is not in terrible danger here, right? We've just swapped off a bunch of stuff, and the king just can sidestep, and he's okay. Yes, I'm up a piece, but this move is far better, okay? Because the king is in check and has to do something. Bishop takes is excellent. Queen takes is best. What? But bottom line, it's a lost position, right? Because of this. Queen's there. It's saying move the knight out, but really there's nothing that can be done now. Queen e3 is best. And that's simply a blunder. Should have played queen d8. Sacrificing the queen to get rid of this bishop. Right? It's the only possible way out of this. Okay? And that's best and winning. So there you go. The deadly Vienna game. I'm enjoying this an awful lot. Still enjoying it, and I'll still keep on making videos on this when I get a game like this, because it can be absolutely razor sharp. Good stuff. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you give the Vienna a little whirl yourself. Very satisfying, nice win. Yes, my opponent's only 1,000 rated, but you know, half the players on chess.com are below 1,000 rated at least. So there was no particular strategic brilliance in this. It's just a case of developing, creating threats, and this kind of approach will work for you as well as it'll work for me. So yeah, hope you give it a try. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.